Some people look at the mountains and see an opportunity for solitude, adventure, beauty. More than 130 years ago, Thaddeus Lowe envisioned instead a great place for a hotel or two. And out of hubris, profit motive, or a genuine desire to bring the mountains to the masses, he succeeded in building one of the coolest destinations of the late 19th century. And what's left of that dream? Well, these nifty low-tech viewing tubes for locating places in the San Gabriel Mountains. Oh yeah, and a wonderful hike full of amazing views. The hike begins at this small parking area off the Mount Wilson Road at a place called Eaton Saddle. Directions are in the description. From the trailhead, we easily traverse the slopes of San Gabriel Peak while peering down into Eaton Canyon on the left and looking up to Mount Lowe in front of us. After a quarter mile, we actually go inside the peak. Well, actually, the Mueller Tunnel, which was built in 1942 by the Forest Service to connect the Mount Lowe Road, which we're on, with the Mount Wilson Road. When you come out the other side, you should recognize the reason for the tunnel. San Gabriel Peak is continually shedding rocks, and if they had simply constructed a road, well, landslides would have destroyed it. Another quarter mile goes by, and we come to Markham Saddle. Look to the left for the Mark Trail and take it up. Now you could, if you want more hiking, grab a side trip up the trail to the right to San Gabriel Peak. Now on the Mount Lowe Trail, we climb, sometimes steeply. Then, after about a mile, we hit this trail junction where we make a hard right. More up, but only for about a quarter mile, where we come to this spur trail to the Mount Lowe summit. Go straight for another quarter mile until you hit the top of the peak. Thaddeus Lowe's ultimate plan was to build another hotel up here. To do that, he wanted to extend a rail line he had built down there to this spot. At the time, circa 1894, the cable cars were considered engineering marvels, when that meant something to do with steel and not computer chips. The rail line took as many as 1,500 tourists a day to his hotel on Echo Summit, and another one called Ye Alpine Tavern, which we'll see on our way to Inspiration Point. Those visiting the tavern could saddle up a horse and ride 2.5 miles to here, and this hitching post. Now this used to be called Oak Mountain, but was renamed after Lowe, who seems to be the first person to have summited here. Old Thaddeus ran out of money and never built that hotel, which surely would have required that they chop off the top of this peak and of course lower the elevation, which is now and forever at 5,606 feet. After, perhaps, appreciating Lowe's ambition while being glad he didn't succeed, we take the spur trail back to this junction, turn left, and descend Mount Lowe's west side. More viewing tubes. Some with clearer views than others. We continue going down for about 1.5 miles. And then we hit the Mount Lowe Road, where we turn left. In just a few steps, look to your right for Ye Alpine Tavern Trail. So, after a few minutes of walking, we come to the site of Ye Alpine Tavern. And as you can see, not much of it is left, but when it was built in 1895, by the way, Lowe designed it along the lines of a Swiss chalet, it had a card room, guest rooms, a large dining room, and a monster fireplace. And then, in 1936, it all burned down, just like most of Lowe's other turn-of-the-century amusements. And now the bustle of the crowds is gone, and while I wouldn't call it a wilderness feel, I guess the backcountry vibe has definitely returned. After finishing our history lesson, we climb back up to the road and turn right. About a quarter mile later, we come to this flat spot where there are several hiking options. Continue going straight. We're now on the Muir Peak Road. Another quarter mile and we come to this. When guests visited Ye Alpine Tavern, they could walk to Inspiration Point to look down at Pasadena, Los Angeles, and beyond. And then there's the magical tubes that, 130 years later, still work fine. Unfortunately, a simple pipe can't cut through the Los Angeles haze. To finish the hike, we head back toward the Mount Lowe Road for a segment that's nearly 4 miles. And just remember, when you return to the multiple trail junctions, stick to the road, veering right. It's a steady climb for nearly the entire distance, alleviated by the almost constant views to the west. Finally, we reach the Markham Saddle, which we cross and head down the road, walking through the tunnel again. The trailhead is but a quarter mile away. So, if you like this video, hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Just to let you know, I post one hike each week. And in the meantime, go to the woods, no matter who you are.